Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
And I'm Katrina Unit.
And today, Katrina, I said to you, because I had another, you've already done 3 picks with us. You did Howl's Moving Castle, you did
Easy A,
and
Stardust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Three lovely, wonderful films. And I had 3 spaces in the schedule. And I said to you, do you want to do 3 more picks? And then you said, oh, well, I've never seen Rain Man and I like Edge of Tomorrow. And I said, oh, let's do a Tom Cruise 3 picks and you can watch Rain Man for the first time. And then you said...
Oh, yeah. But I would like to say I have read the book of the film of Rain Man.
This is the funniest thing about Rain Man. It's my second favourite fact about Rain Man, other than it was Diana's favourite film, rest in peace. And they said to me that you lived your life.
Like a candle in the wind.
I have a very funny running joke, and I need to write a sketch or put it into a film or a script or something. And so I shouldn't actually be saying it here for people to steal. But Elton John rewriting that first line just when anybody dies and re-releasing the song.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I thought, no, I'm not going to make that joke because there is the chance that he may die by the time that this episode comes out.
Good point.
Not Elton John. It was Mick Jagger. It was Mick Jagger's birthday. And I'm in a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood fan group on Facebook. And somebody put, for Mick. And I thought, oh my God, Mick Jagger's died. And it was just his birthday. Come the release of this, Mick Jagger may have passed. And if he has, rest in peace. If he hasn't, we love you, Mick. Keep going. We love you, Rick. Rick.
I didn't say Rick.
Rick. Mick. Speaking of...
Anyway,
anyway, and so the point of the story is that you said, oh, well, I'd probably, but then I've only got 1 space left and I'd have to pick my favourite Mission Impossible. And then you said, instead of 3 picks, can I have 6 picks? And I said, I think I know where this is going. And you said, let's do Mission Impossible April. And
I'm very persuasive.
Good morning, Mr. Phelps. This is your mission should you choose to accept it. Should you or any member of your IM force be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow all knowledge of your actions. Ethan Hunt will be your point man as usual. Good luck, Jim.
Simple game. Is he serious?
Always.
It's much worse than you think.
We're being ambushed. Abort, that's an order. They knew we were coming. Do you read me?
I don't care how he did it. I want to know why he did it. You're worried about me. Why you survived.
I'm sure we can find something I have that you need.
Well, this is the thing. I'm sorry to ruin your story. You don't need to be persuasive because your love of Mission Impossible is a big love with me as well. This is something that I've had planned for a while, and then by happenstance...
I feel like I am the most... Not the most qualified, but the most passionate about Mission Impossible. Can you imagine if you'd done it without me? I don't think we would be friends anymore. That would have genuinely shook me to my core.
No one sent me.
These guys are trained to be ghosts. Let's not waste time chasing after him. Just make him come to us. Find something that's personally important to him, and you squeeze. Operation was a decoy. I can understand you're very upset.
You've never seen me very upset.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty... Yeah. I mean, people always talk about the Alien franchise by saying it's very interesting because it's the same movie 4 times, just by totally different directors.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got Ridley Scott, and Alien is this bare bones horror thriller. Then you've got Aliens. My favourite. Alien is pretty... Alien and Aliens are both 10 out of 10 for me. I'm a whore for James Cameron, so I'd probably say Aliens. It's game over, man! Game over!
That is fair, though.
Yeah, it is pretty. And then, yes, the Alien movies will be coming soon as well. But... and then Aliens, and then obviously the Alien 3 debacle with Fincher and all that. And then obviously Alien Resurrection by the guy who made Amelie, which is a weird choice. But I've always felt that way also about Mission Impossible. And I think it came from a very, very... I mean, we kind of lost it, which we'll get into as we get to Rogue Nation and Fallout, where Macquarie gets his hands on it. No complaints there. But... there is and we're going to see it, I think, most clearly 1, 2, 3. To go from...
for me, they're the three that are so disjointed from one another.
Completely.
They all have their merits. Number 2 has some very interesting facets about it. Okay?
And it's your mum's favourite film.
Of the 6, that's my mum's favourite. That's all you need to know about my mum's taste in films. But for me, the first one, which is what we're talking about today, obviously, I think is my favourite of the 3, which I feel like for some people is a very controversial choice because a lot of people would pick 3. And I understand why people would pick 3. But for me, and especially rewatching it the other night, I love this film.
Well, this is the thing. I'm a huge fan of Brian De Palma.
De Palma, yeah. As
most movie guys are. What's your relationship with Brian De Palma, Katrina? Does it branch out into Scarface and Carlitos Way and The Untouchables, or
just Mission Impossible 1?
There's nothing wrong with Mission Impossible 1. And I think the joy of Mission Impossible is that it's got that De Palma flair, because I'll talk about De Palma Corner for a little bit. Obviously, De Palma makes his name in these erotic late 70s, early 80s thrillers with this high fusion combination of violence and sex and this perversion, and it's Frenzy by Hitchcock in the maximum overdrive of the 80s, and Sexual Politics Be Damned. There's a wonderful, wonderful documentary by Noah Baumbach and Jake Kasdan called De Palma, which is just a 2-hour interview with Brian De Palma, and it's one of my favorites. But I'm a huge De Palma fan. And I think the reason why Mission Impossible works so well is because, sure, this doesn't have extended graphic sex scenes, nor gory, bloody violence.
That's something I will say, by the way, is Ethan Hunt, I think, is very unlike a lot of action film protagonists.
He's sexless.
He's sweet with the women he falls for. Yeah. He's very sweet. He's very gentle, which you can especially see in this film with Claire. Pretty sure her name's Claire.
Yeah,
she's not very memorable, I have to say.
I'm going to immediately put a stop to what you're saying. I don't think he is very gentle with Claire.
No. No. Obviously, but I'm saying, like, there are like, especially the opening scene, like when she is waking up, he's got his hand on her face. He's very clearly besotted by her. Like, his face is very sweet and gentle, and then there's that scene where she's sat on the floor and he knows that she's probably guilty as well, and she takes his hand, and it's just kind of, he's not like James Bond is very sex, like, oh, look at me have sex with this woman I've known for a few hours in the shower, and
who's just admitted that she was abused as a child in a sex ring.
But Ethan Hunt isn't like that, and I do find that very, very interesting as far as action films go, especially from what you're saying about De Palma, where a lot of his films were like full of sex and violence and stuff. And I do think that's interesting. I do think that's Tom Cruise, not
Well, I think when we look at Tom Cruise's career, he's apart from, well, no, you can't even say apart from Eyes Wide Shut, because Eyes Wide Shut is this clinical, bizarre sexual odyssey.
Really weird. Really weird.
my favourite Kubrick, one of my favourite films ever,
Of
actually,
course.
if I'm being honest. Little Dicky. Nicole Kidman. Love Nicole Kidman. If you men only knew. I saw a lot of, it was
Yes.
recently...
Sorry, I had a drink in my mouth, and then he said that, and I went to laugh, and it got so...
Wrong hole, yeah. No, but there was recently a resurgence of Eyes Wide Shut on Twitter, which I very much enjoyed for its somethingth anniversary. It'll be 30th now, Jesus Christ. No, it won't be nearly 20th. No,
Okay.
It can't be. Anyway, whatever. It's resurgence. That was very fun. But other than that, Tom Cruise isn't really a sex symbol, even though he was really marketed as one. Because Top Gun isn't really sexy. I mean, there's the sex scene that they added, and the elevator scene that they added because after the first test screening, they were like, these guys are like cardboard blocks.
Does he ever, Ethan Hunt, the character, does he ever explicitly have sex? I can't remember, especially not in the first, and he doesn't in the last two.
He may, in number 3 with Michelle Monaghan, I feel like I'm remembering them waking up together naked.
Oh, I think he does. It does in number 2 with Fanny Newton. He does.
Oh, yeah.
But,
well, it's the hair.
Not only that, but also 2 is the most out of all of the Mission Impossibles. It's the most different, in my opinion. It's the most like if you could. I feel like you could completely skip number 2 and it would change nothing about the series whatsoever. And that is what I do tend to do.
Yes, I very rarely watch Mission Impossible. I think this watch that we'll do for this series will be the first time I've watched it completely since like a very young child.
For me, Mission Impossible 1, every time I watch it, I'm like, when I haven't watched it in a while, I'm like, God, you know what, Mission Impossible 1's kind of boring. And then I watch it and I'm like, Mission Impossible 1 is not boring. It's really good, actually. Really good. So...
After this watch, it's probably my second favourite.
Really? Interesting.
It's probably my second favourite, and depending on how the Fallout rewatch goes, may very well be my favourite.
That's fair.
But I think we're talking about sexy Tom Cruise. I think we would have lots more sex scenes in the Mission Impossible series if he had his chance with more prestige British actresses, because I think his chemistry with Kristen Scott Thomas and Vanessa Redgrave is some of the best chemistry I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. You know what? And we're going to preface this by saying we do not agree with Tom Cruise's political or religious opinions.
Everybody go watch Going Clear, the wonderful Scientology documentary, which now on the DVD and on Sky Atlantic is just covered, the whole, hilariously so, covered every moment with John Travolta's press agent says this isn't true, Tom Cruise's press agent says it isn't true, and that in itself just makes the documentary even more interesting.
I am such a big fan of Tom Cruise as an actor and as a filmmaker. There is something to be said for how passionate Tom Cruise is, especially about the Mission Impossible franchise. This is his child.
Well, you never forget your first. This is his first.
Surrey Cruise Holmes, whatever her name is. That's not his kid. He doesn't care about her. This is his child.
Yes, everybody go look up the Nicole Kidman picture of her cheering as she leaves the courthouse. One of my favourite pictures.
Yes.
But this is where it all starts. You never forget your first. This is, of course, his first big producing thing. It was his idea to get Mission Impossible as a movie. He'd wanted to do it for some time. It had been floating around for a long time. I'm going to ask you now, Katrina, what pushed it into gear? What made it? What do you know? What led to this getting the green light, not the red light?
I don't know, actually. Obviously, it was a television show in the 60s. But other than that, I don't really know much about the backgrounds of it.
It was another television show in the 60s, The Fugitive, which of course had its own hugely popular, hugely critically acclaimed 90s film version with Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, one of my other favourite films of all time. And they were like, okay, yeah, this is a formula. And then obviously the 90s is full of them. Addams Family, Brady Bunch, others that I can't remember. The Saint. But that becomes its own thing. And of all of those, I mean, obviously Brady Bunch and Addams Family get their sequels, but of all of those, Mission Impossible was the only one, seemingly, and this film knows it because obviously we get the Aruba ending, knows that it could be a franchise, much in the way of a TV series. And I don't know, again, we're filming these almost a year ahead, but I don't know at what stage the Mission Impossible TV series is, but that's in the works now. They've got another Mission Impossible series running concurrently with 9 and 10, which I believe are being filmed back to back following COVID.
Have they filmed 8 yet? Because they've. I
mean 8.
Yeah,
I mean
8 and 9. I know 7's. It was supposed to be out in October, but now they're releasing it in May, and I believe they're releasing it on the anniversary of, because they're releasing it on May 22nd, which I think was also when Mission Impossible 1 was released. I think that was released on May 22nd as well. But don't hold me to account. Don't hold me to account.
This movie came out in May 22nd, 1996. Very good, Katrina.
Yeah.
Its budget was 80 million. I'd probably add another 20 million to that. I think there's lots. I mean, I'm no budget analyst, but anyway. And eventually, worldwide box office 457.7 million. Huge hit.
I don't remember when Mission Impossible 2 was released. I don't know if that was released before or after I was born. I'm pretty sure it was released in 2000, but I don't know if it was April or before April or after April. But I was supposed to be named after Ethan Hunt. That's how much my dad loved the series. That's how I got into the series. I was supposed to be named after Ethan Hunt if I was a boy, because my parents didn't find out what it was going to be. If I was a boy, I was going to be called Ethan. And my little brother is called Ethan. So, yeah.
Is he a fan of the series, the TV series, or is it purely the movies?
You are asking someone who doesn't know.
Oh, that is true. Yes.
So
I'm getting water in my nose.
Sorry. So yeah, this is like my only tie to my dad is Mission Impossible.
Now I feel like I'm on Mark Mariner. It's like, okay, tell me about that.
No. Just I watched them a lot as a kid.
They're great movies.
Yeah.
Which takes us into YouTube comments. The beginning of an iconic franchise. So true. But also, in 1996, I don't think anybody would have put money on the longevity and the quality. If I was in 1996, I would have gone, okay, they're going to pay De Palma 200 million, something stupid, to get him back and make a sequel. And then they'll bring somebody else in to make a third one, and then that third one won't make as much money, and then it'll be done by 2002. Bizarre choice to wait 5 years, and then Mission Impossible 2, directed by John Woo. I mean,
my theory is they didn't know they were going to film a sequel. They left it open, but they weren't sure. Yeah. Then I think De Palma won't have wanted to come back. Has he ever done sequels before?
No.
So there you go.
He made the movie Redacted, which is basically a retelling of his Vietnam War film Casualties of War, but in the Iraq War.
Oh, no way. But yeah, I don't think he'll have wanted to come back, and then Tom Cruise will have looked around for another director. And while Mission Impossible 2 isn't my favourite, it had to be made because it's such a late 90s, early 2000s action film, in my opinion.
You're literally spot on the money. We know that that's the truth. The reason that Mission Impossible 2 it comes about is because Tom Cruise was such a fan and lover of John Woo, who is in his own right an excellent filmmaker. And his Hollywood films don't necessarily show that to the best capability. Face Off's very fun, but it's nowhere near hard boiled is Korean stuff. Which takes us into YouTube comments. I know everyone loves Part 6, but there's just no beating the classic original. Saw it 3 times on IMAX. Brian De Palma is the most underrated director ever. The Mission Impossible Mission Impossible was the only one that stuck to the tone of the TV series, with the elaborate cons, covert tasks, and outwitting the bad guys, surveillance, etc. I think I've wrote down here Fast and the Furious, and I think that is a ridiculous thing to say, but also is kind of the same vibe of when you go back to the first film. Fast and the Furious is just that.
I haven't seen one. I've never seen them.
Don't bother. But like the first one is just drag racing, and famously, people love to say it as the joke. They are stealing DVD players, and then obviously, I don't know if you've seen the trailers or whatever for Fast 9 or seen any tweets.
Are they in space?
They're in space. So it's that ridiculous thing, and obviously that's this times 10. Well, going back to this film, it is a simpler, less worthy.
In my opinion, this is the only one that is a spy.
Yeah.
The others are all a hybrid. This, to me, is more pure spy.
Well, this comes in the peak of Brosnan Bond, which is a pretty healthy period to start with. GoldenEye's great. Then, as those get on, they get lesser.
Which is the one where at the end he has all the tapes and Piers Brosnan's in a boat and he's waving. What's that one?
Oh God!
Do you know which one I mean?
Is it Tomorrow Never Dies? Is the one where Jonathan Pryce is like a newspaper magnate. World Is Not Enough has the song by Garbage. Die Another Day is the one with like Madonna and Halle Berry, where he's like skiing on the wave, and Rosamund Pike's. Oh no! Denise Richards plays somebody called Christmas, and he goes, Christmas came early this year. Hey, you dog.
But yeah, this one to me is the most. I can see it does fit the theme of the. I've never seen the television show, but it does feel more like a 60s spy.
I watched a couple of episodes in preparation for this fortnight, and it's great. I mean, I'm a big lover of 60s Arcana. Yeah. I don't know if I could ever do the full box set, but yeah.
It's not quite 10 seasons of Frasier, anyway.
No, I've not told this story in the podcast yet. I went to, I don't know if the viewers know Will. He's sometimes on the show. But we went to see him in Sheffield, and charity shop, usually 40 quid, 30 quid Frasier box set, a tenner. And I thought, get it. And it's all perfect. It's all fresh condition. Honey, I hear the blues are calling. Anyway. The Katrina Units 1-star review corner. Katrina Units.
Let me get it up.
Oh, have you got them up already? I've got some here.
I'll have a look though. You can read some out if you've got some. The
point is that we're talking about this as a lovely 60s homage to it, but a litany of the 1-star reviews are saying, no, it's shit compared to the series. The old series deserved better. I was very much disappointed. I turned into Jeremy Vine then. I was very much disappointed by this flat action movie and its predictable ending. I am a fan of the old Mission Impossible series of the 60s and 80s, and therefore I think the plot is ridiculous at best. Why should Jim Phelps do what he did?
Yeah, I will say, from what I have read, a lot of the complaints of this film is, why did they make Jim Phelps evil?
But that is so great to me.
Oh, no, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think it would be brilliant if one day it turns out in Mission Impossible, Ethan actually is the mole and he's just gone bad. And he's like, you know what? I've had enough. Every single film, you guys are saying that I am the bad guy. And I'm bloody sick of it, actually. So, yeah.
It's only when you watch them back to back that you realise every single fucking movie, he's never done anything wrong. He's never done anything wrong.
Especially the last film. It's like this poor guy.
It's wacky. It gets wacky when you stand back and watch them all. But I love John Voight in this. I think he's excellent.
Oh yeah, me too.
But I long for a world where Peter Graves and Martin Landau were in on how cool an idea this is and do that. Again, I'm not this big lover of the TV series, but can you just imagine how
that would be cool.
Iconic and cool that would be?
No, I do think John Voight was very good in this film, though. Very believable as both the mentor what isn't believable is how young and sexy his wife is. But
Claire, I've got that in change. Yes,
we'll talk about that later.
that entire thing. Anyway,
I've got change. I've got big change, and what I think could have made the film better later, in terms of Jim and Claire.
A full sex scene with John Voight. I know where you're going.
No.
I know where you're going. I've got another review.
But he was very believable as like this mentor, like,
Yeah.
but he was also believable as a villain.
As a scumbag, when he's like,
Yeah.
I know, I've already tasted the goods. I knew. It's like,
Yeah,
very,
ew,
very
so
sick.
gross.
This review, again, very similar. You've ruined a great show. It ends with the line, "Don't let De Palma get a hold of Columbo, or he'll have the lieutenant become a serial killer, with Tom Cruise, his partner, tracking him down in a car chase and killing him."
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it. Should have named it the Tom Cruise Show. Another branch of criticism is the people who are like, Mission Impossible is a crew. Mission Impossible is a group. And I feel like we get a little bit of it here, but as the movies goes on, we're back to full crew status. Like,
Yeah, especially but I would say from number 3 onwards,
yeah,
it does turn into a lot more of a crew. And, excuse me, are we all forgetting that Luther's in this film? I love that guy. I love him. He's like one of my favourite. He's the only other character who is in every single film.
yeah. Is he in 2 as well?
Yes, he's in 2.
Oh, fantastic! I love a bit of.
He's
love
only
a bit of
in
Reigns.
4. It's like he's only in 4 very briefly, but he is in that one as well.
I think.
And his head gets bigger every single film. Watch it. His head gets bigger every single film.
I'm a big Reigns guy.
Something I will say about Mission Impossible,
Go on.
which some people might not agree with.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of, for the 90s, kind of woke.
Max, yeah.
You've got Max and you've got Luther. Luther could very have easily been the muscle. It could have been like the big fighting guy. Instead, he's a little nerd on his computer sat in the fire engine going, he's coming towards you.
He's coming to. He's rolling. Which I now. It'll be one of those things where after watching all 6 back to back, I'm going to pick up Sly slang. Spies, also known as spy slang.
Sly slang.
I've got one here. Like watching a bad play. The movie is filled with these scenes where the characters talk and talk and talk and then talk some more. And the way it's filmed, it's like watching a bad play. Couldn't disagree more. The way I don't think Brian De Palma has ever seen a wide shot that he couldn't put an angle on or put some bizarre split.
Yeah. Someone here said, I think only simpletons watch these awful movies. My God, every single one of these movies is terribly bad. I think that's just objectively wrong.
Yeah.
It just is. I'm sorry. It just is. I think, especially 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, some perfect examples of action.
Well, we're going to get to it. Maybe it'll change. The last time I watched 3, I was pretty disappointed.
It's not. It is a bit lackluster. You have Philip Seymour Hoffman,
There we go.
and you don't utilize him as well. There is some very cool scenes though, especially.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that
when we get there.
Another time.
Which takes us into the body of the film. Best 10-minute stretch. Katrina, you famously do dirty protests and you don't take your notes.
How long is this film? How many minutes is it?
An hour 50.
Well, there you go. That's how many good 10-minute stretches there are in this film. Because when I was doing them, I couldn't pick one. Genuinely, there were so many where I was like, "This is so good."
I've got it down to 4.
Yeah, I'm thinking about 4-ish.
Go on.
My first one is when from the elevator going wrong and squishing that poor man. There,
Emilio Estevez, yeah.
From there to Ethan entering the film. I don't know if that's about 10 minutes. It might be longer than 10 minutes.
I've got here, opening. I'm calling it a fake out because it's in the lineage of Psycho Screams after, but that thing of, because Kristen Scott Thomas, this is the year of the English Patient. She is a huge star. Emilio Estevez, hot off Young Guns, and they have great chemistry. And for that first 10 minutes,
I tell you what.
This is the guys. These are the.
And as well, you really do kind of like bond. You already know what each character's like. I think the least fleshed out one, I can't even think of her name.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
she doesn't get anything.
She's the least fleshed out, which is kind of annoying. Would have liked to have maybe seen more of her to have got that emotional impact,
or had a bigger star in it. If you're just doing this star casting, which I think Scott Thomas elevates and removes and isn't just star casting. I think she's really, really, really good. And Estevez as well. And also, the brutality of fucking Estevez's death with the elevator prong in the head. I mean, I know that I
can't watch that bit. It's horrible, that bit. I genuinely can't watch it. I think it's horrible.
You should watch Body Double and see the drill scene, and then you can see what I think what De Palma would have wanted if he was allowed 5 more seconds to make this R-rated.
I love, obviously, you know, I'm a big Four Weddings fan. Love Kristen Scott Thomas.
I love Kristen
I think
Scott
she
Thomas.
is a wonderful. She often plays like the straight man, that kind of character. And I was like, and I think the way that she dies, while it's not the most brutal, it's kind of one of the saddest, because she literally dies in Ethan's arms, and I do think that that's a very
sticks with you.
Yeah, it really does, especially
and it obviously
because
sticks with him,
and especially because of the knife. The fact that knife, obviously, it is all throughout the film. Obviously, it's not a spoiler. Why are you watching this if you haven't seen Mission Impossible 1? But obviously, that's Krieger, is that how you say his name?
Krieger, yeah. It completely slipped me. I hadn't seen this movie in some time, but I completely forgot and never clicked. It's like, oh yeah.
His knife, which he must go back for, which is kind of shitty of him. Or he just loves that brand of knife.
I guess his fingertips would be on it.
Good point.
Unless he's wearing gloves.
And then obviously, he goes to kill the fireman, which actually, looking back, that should have been Ethan's red flag that guy wasn't very good. He was going to kill that guy when he was when they were pretending to be firemen.
Nobody can. We'll see.
And then obviously it drops into, which, by the way, okay, no. I feel like we've got to go in chronological order here.
Okay, let's go back to 10-minute stretches. The fake out, as we talked about, the psycho of it all, thinking we love Kristen Scott Thomas, we love Emilio Estevez. Oh, these are the guys, dead. And Voight as well at that point, we think is dead.
Which, by the way, looking back, you literally see it's his hand. You can tell but on your first rewatch, it's enough of a short shot of the gun that you don't notice it, and that Ethan, with his adrenaline and how panicked he was, won't have noticed it either. But on a rewatch, if you actually do watch, you can actually tell it's his hand, which is very interesting to me. But what I found really interesting was the filming techniques and the fact that you are in Ethan's shoes. You only know that he's being followed because he's saying it. You never get a shot of someone following him ever.
Yeah.
Ever. You only get him looking around going, oh my God, Ethan. Oh my God, someone's following me. So you are literally in Ethan's shoes.
It's great stuff. Which takes us into meeting Max, the wonderful Vanessa Redgrave.
You miss one of mine, but I think it's more to do with one of mine is
in single minute, I think. Aquavarium.
It's him like doing the Book of Job thing, and
no, I definitely didn't know that.
No, for me, it wasn't because necessarily the film. It was more because you kind of get more of an insight into Ethan's character. A lot of the time, I think in these action films, they make the protagonist dumb but good with a gun. And in this film, you can really see that he works out the Book of Job thing. He goes around. You establish that he knows lots of languages because he's writing in like German and stuff like that. And then you have Claire walking in. I don't like the bit where dead Jim is like humbling in, and it's obviously not real.
Oh, that works for me a little bit.
But it's Tom Cruise's acting when Claire walks in, and he's clearly sleep deprived, clearly grieving, clearly going crazy. Tom Cruise looks so vulnerable in the bit where he's like looking at the door and then looking back. He's very erratic. I don't know. For me, it made him seem like very like sympathetic. And then he does attack her, which is a little bit. But also, I think I'd do the same.
Yes, I mean it attacks. Yeah, I'll put this out there. Yeah, attack's a bit strong. I think he's just very, very paranoid, and he is just dressing her down, and he's just, patting her down and finding wires.
And you know what?
Or whatever.
She's a very beautiful woman. I'd love to pat her down as well.
Yes, Emmanuel. Oh, what's her name? Emmanuel Bear. Emmanuel Bear. Yes,
Bear, yeah.
We both need to prepare hot buckets of water. That's not a thing. Cold buckets of water, I believe, for Vanessa Kirby in Fallout. But we'll get there when we get there. Emmanuel Baird. Yes, Emmanuel Baird.
One thing I will say, if it's just a shot of her, I swear they put a soft focus on her. They make her look very angelic. And I think she's very beautiful, but she kind of looks like a child sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the way they shoot her often from like a high angle, and she's got huge eyes that kind of makes her look a lot more.
Yeah, she does have very big
She's got massive eyes. Her eyes are bloody huge.
Meeting Max. I just have the deepest love for the Redgrave and the Richardson family. I love Vanessa Redgrave. I love Natasha Richardson. Rest in peace.
Brilliant in this film.
She's excellent. And I also love, I'm going to be very bad and forget her name, and then I'm going to Google it and remember it. I can't remember. Her other daughter's name, she's in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. She's the one who lives. She's Harriet Vanger. Oh, I'm going to Noli Richardson or something. Okay, I'm going to find it. 5, 4, 3... Jolie Richardson, that's it. But yes, I'm a huge fan of the Redgrave Richardson family. Did you know, Katrina, that Vanessa Redgrave is married to Franco Nero, who you may know as Django?
The original?
Yeah, from the bar. It's like, the name is Django. The D is
I didn't know that.
Because,
no, but I think she's wonderful in this film. I love the fact that they do a fake out of Max's gender. Like, Max is always called he.
Yeah.
And I love that. And then she's just marvellous.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't even come across as evil. She doesn't come across as like an antagonist. She's just a means to an end. And she's just doing what she's doing.
It's just business.
She's great.
It's pure business. And yes, it's very clear that
they have wonderful chemistry.
Sure do.
The back and forth between her and Tom Cruise is so good in this film. Especially when...
Oh, my dear boy.
Yeah, I love it. Love it.
I didn't know you were such a good sport. Yes, it's... I'm going to say it's sexual chemistry. I think...
Kind of.
There's a lot going on there. She never takes off that incredible blue suit. She must just like that blue suit. No, she's absolutely excellent in it. And that's... getting her on his side, and the trickery, and then Henry Zazie coming Kittredge. Like, we've not talked about Kittredge yet. It was maybe a touch over the top.
Yeah, chill out, man. You know the bit where they're first of all, it's not. I haven't said it in my 10-minute stretch. I kind of like the restaurant scene just because of the ridiculousness of Ethan Hunt blowing up a fish tank.
I've got it in single minute, unironically. I think it's glorious.
Yeah, no, it's great. This is what I'm saying. It's great. It's over the top. It's brilliant. It's very camp almost. It's great. But I love that bit where she's, they're just waiting for the IMF to turn up, and you're like, they're so gonna, and then they do, and it's like, oh, and then they're in the car together. It's great.
Ooh, good spot. Wonderful stuff. Which takes us, of course, into Langley. I mean, one could make the argument that without the Langley sequence...
Yeah, Mission Impossible wouldn't be as popular.
Mission Impossible, I don't think, would be a thing. I don't think it'd get its sequels. And
it's so interesting because it's one of the first instances of, Tom Cruise likes to do his own stunts. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise likes... Like, he did that. He was on that tightrope. He did the spins. He did the Do you know how hard it is to hold yourself like
I
that
know,
without
it
tipping?
looks tough.
But some people think it looks so easy. It is not easy, especially when you're obviously as built as he is. He'll be top heavy because of his like shoulders and his arms and stuff like that. Oh my god, insane! And it's so, I feel so bad for what's it, William Donlow, the poor guy.
Yeah. William.
He's so. He's like, oh, he'll be transferred to Alaska by the morning. That poor man.
Mail him his clothes. It's another one where he goes slightly over the top.
But
yeah,
that is a brilliant stretch.
Well,
it's
just De Palma just going whole hog. I mean, that is what he's known for best in those early 70s, 80s thrillers. And it's just a masterpiece of tension, craft, and filmmaking. No music, excellent choice. Really bringing us into the world of that pressured silence. Obviously, modern example would be, A Quiet Place. The choice there to not have a lot of music, just to bring us into that. Obviously, Rafifi, if we're going for a classic example.
Something you learn is that, well, not learn, it's quite obvious, is that sometimes a lack of music and a lack of it is so much more impactful than music could ever be in that scene. Music in that scene, especially when it's just Ethan on his own, typing, you really get this tension of you've got to be quiet. You yourself watching it are like, oh my, I don't even want to say a word. Don't even want to.
Well, it's a bit like, I mean, we're going to get to it, but in Rogue Nation, the under the water sequence. And I remember watching that and holding my own breath going, could I do it? And like trying, and then obviously failing, and then telling myself, but with the adrenaline and I'd be able to do it. But obviously, it was impossible. And then the train, which I do have a couple of problems with. I enjoyed the train a lot more when they're in it than when they're on.
Yeah, no, but going back to like one of my favorite, one of my least favorite bits about that scene though, the bloody rat. I understand why they had to have the rat in there. But my mum can't watch that bit because she hates rats. She's very terrified of rats.
Well, Thomas, big question about the rat. Did Krieger then kill the rat? Because
he bit it. He bit it.
Oh, I thought he was sneezing.
Nah, he bit it. For definite. I'm telling you, he bit that rat to death. But then again, he'd have blood in his mouth, wouldn't he? Maybe he just hits it. Maybe he just bashes it with his head.
Wonderful stuff. And they're the 10-minute stretches. I think on the train, I enjoy before the tunnel. I think the minute the helicopter goes into the tunnel, you've lost me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Not
and I don't
terrible.
want to be a downer. It's not terrible. It just feels out of place in this movie.
Yeah, it does. It feel like it would fit more in a later one, which maybe is why they bring the helicopters back for Fallout.
Yeah.
As a kind of, not a redemption, but more of a let's do it again, because obviously as the films went on, Tom Cruise did more of his own stunts.
Yeah, and that is so practical and visceral, and compared to the CGI.
Best thing about Tom Cruise though, my God, that man can run.
He sure can run. Yes, we have a great run leaving Aquavarium. Lovely stuff. Takes us into Tom Swindler's specific favourite parts of the film, the credits. Just dum bum 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 bum, and no fucking remix. I mean, in the next movie we obviously get the Limp Bizkit version, but in this one we get just the pure theme, and it just kicks off. Did we get it? We got it. Bum bum bum, and it just. I think the kids would say it bangs.
It slaps.
That's what they say. It's banger, isn't it? That wasn't even a joke. That wasn't even a joke. That was a genuine mistake. Terrible. I love the POV. I love the whole thing, really. It's probably his best single minute, actually, when they're getting into the party at the start and all of the POV there, which then leads into the perfume spray. Just lovely stuff. And then the glasses. It's just all just exceptionally well done. And it is what they're talking about in those 1-star reviews of what the TV show was, and those little things, and the minutiae in the world of this. But
I'm also glad that Mission Impossible did do its own thing. Like as a film series, I'm really glad it did.
And it was very self-conscious of that, and we'll get to that in fun facts. We've got a couple of quotes there. I love the elevator split screen. Obviously, De Palma's famous for his split screens, but here we have a real life split screen with the elevator and the wall. Just lovely composition, lovely stuff. The first time we see Ving Rhames, and he's just dressed exactly as Marcellus Wallace.
I love Ving Rhames. I love Ving Rhames. Him as Luther was such excellent filming. Casting. I love him as this character. He's such a foil to Ethan. Ethan is so often so serious. He does have his funny moments, but he is often very serious and very focused on the mission. And Luther's just great, this great thing that pulls him back. I love him. I love Luther.
It's lovely stuff. The sangria drop. Let's talk about that. Obviously, it's wonderful setup for the Langley sequence of the drop from the drink, the condensation. But what is that drink? It looks like he's brought a glass of sangria.
Oh my god. That is exactly what I was going to ask you. I said to Mum and Phil when we were watching it, what is that drink? Because it looks like it's red, but it's got like oranges in it.
It looks like sangria. The only drink that it can be is a glass of sangria.
Yeah,
and he's obviously not bringing a sangria into that room.
And I also really like, here's my really favorite specific bit, is when he's like really focusing, and then you get that, first of all, why is he wearing glasses in there? I don't know. They could have fallen off your face, Ethan. I feel like the glasses were a bad choice. And
he doesn't need glasses at any other time. Is it because they're camera glasses? They are. No, they are. They're camera glasses. Because Jean Reno is looking, isn't he? Yes.
But the drop, and then he catches it in his hand.
Which I have a problem with the catch, because the way that the cut to the hand shot, it's ooh, and it comes in from like nowhere.
I forgot my other favourite 10-minute stretch. I don't know if it's 10 minutes, but it's when Ethan and Jim meet up again.
Oh yeah.
In the train station.
No, I've got that in single minute. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Just smell him his clothes, and then the Phelps reveal just before that coffee scene, actually, of him. I mean, anytime you see a man in a raincoat and a hat in a Mission Impossible movie, you know that there's somebody. To the extent that in the final scene with Luther and Ethan at just like that bar, when they're just like, we're cool, we're free, we can do whatever we want. There's a guy in a raincoat and a hat in the back of the shot, and I'm going, wait a minute, have I misremembered the ending? Is like Phelps still alive? I can't remember. Is somebody going to pull up a mask? Which takes us into soundtrack corner. We've talked about the excellent use of the theme, and then lovely little bit of the Cranberries there at the end in the background of that bar. Love the Cranberries. Which takes us into, I don't think we need to really do Oscar travesty. Unfortunately, we could relitigate the Oscars' relationship with action movies and horror movies and comedies. But I think, unfortunately, there is too little time.
I think it's a losing battle.
It is indeed. Which takes us into Best Single Minute. Well, we've already talked about a couple of them. Aquavarium. I've put here, sleepy emails. I just enjoy his fake sleep. Where he's like, and he's sending up his emails.
I really like when he's typing, you can see the Bible in shot. You can actually see it the whole time, and then especially the reveal when he opens to the front of the Bible and it says by property of Drake Hotel, and I feel like you could miss that.
Oh yeah.
But especially on a rewatch, you're like, oh my god, that's when he realised. Yeah.
It's good shit. And then yes, the quote unquote realization, that coffee dinner where Phelps is pretending to be short, and I don't know if it's necessarily confusing, but I'm still a little bit confused myself of to what extent I think it's incredibly well made, that montage, but we're not exactly clued in on, is this what Ethan's thinking? Is this De Palma showing us what actually happened? Does Ethan know what he's saying? Does he know that he's tricking him? Does Phelps know that Ethan knows?
So for me, what it is Jim thinking he's outsmarting Ethan.
Yeah.
Ethan what we see, obviously he says differently to what we as the audience see.
Yeah.
That's Ethan working through what's happening, which is why you get the scene of Claire blowing up the car.
Yeah.
And then you get the scene of Jim blowing up the car, because it's Ethan in his head.
Yeah.
While he's saying, oh my God, and then Kittredge did this, which to me is him going over, right, okay, so this is basically confirming that, he did it, because he's here and alive, and which I think sealed Jim's fate of dying, is the fact that he just was such a dick and turned up. If he'd have not been as cocky and had just like stayed dead, I don't think any of that would have happened. I think he'd have got away with his money, but because
But how would he have gotten the money? Would Claire have stolen it?
No, because he could have still been on the train.
All right. Yep. Yeah, because he's just in that compartment waiting.
Yeah.
So for that entire time, Jim Phelps has been watching Tom Cruise sat as himself for a good 10 minutes, just like, do I look like that? Do I really look like that? Do I sound like that?
Because you think Ethan did it. He was in that compartment setting things up, getting that gun out, and then it wasn't until Max said, "Oh, it's in the then he walked past, and then Claire came out.
Which takes us into best line. It was a lot of fun here. I mean, obviously, the film has 3 credited screenwriters: David Koepp, Steve Zalian, and Robert Towne. It really is an amalgamation of... Robert Towne was basically rewriting scenes in between takes. And Robert Towne, famous script doctor for huge films, obviously also wrote Chinatown and The Last Detail, 2 incredible screenplays. But some of these you just really know where they go. Red light, green light, I'm a huge fan of. I love when they just get cocky and they know that they can do things. Yeah. And so, I'm going to throw this one in. You got any?
I don't think I have any. Maybe just anything Max says, because she's wonderful.
She is absolutely delightful. I've got just a bizarre... Well, I don't know if I can say it's bizarre. I've never had all of my friends die. But my team is dead. They knew we were coming, man. They knew we were coming, and the disc is gone. Do you read me? The list is in the open.
The bloody not list. Oh my God.
I love Ving Rhames' reaction when we realised what the knock list. Oh my. I'm not the only one who's seen you alive. Very much. Which then takes us promptly into what's the change? You alluded. What do you want to do? Do you want to do small ones and then do your big one, or do you want to do your big one now?
I don't think mine's is that big, but I wouldn't have made Claire Jim's wife. I'd have made her his daughter.
Good choice. Yeah.
Don't you think? I think that would have been just as compelling.
Yeah.
A daughter wanting to help her father out. But then also, you could have had this whole of Jim being like annoyed that Ethan would betray him and try and go after his daughter.
Or you could make it even sicker and have him horror his own daughter out.
Well, I'd rather not go that route.
Well, we have to go that route. So basically, there's a kiss cut from the trailer between Claire and Ethan. There were whole sex scenes in the script that got cut.
I'm so glad they did. I think it cheapened it. I like that Ethan is the character.
Too good for it, because I think Claire clearly is flirting and is trying to have some sex to get Ethan even more, into her and on her side.
In my opinion, Ethan is so honourable, which is why. I mean, I think you do get that good line then from Jim where he's quoting the Bible, which is a call back to Job, and he's like, "Oh, thou shalt not covet thy
neighbour's wife."
Neighbour's wife, which is good. It's not my favourite line, but I think it is a good line. But I just think that would have, first of all, it'd have made more sense. Jim and Claire never looked like a couple. They never acted really like a couple. You only knew they were a couple because they said so. I think it would have been more compelling if she'd have been his daughter.
And also, I think there's a big thing...
Because then he's not killing his wife,
which,
it's a big deal, but clearly they haven't been married that long. She's like 22. She's very young. But it's his daughter. To me, that's more sick. You're killing your actual child.
And I think a big problem is that he just shoots her straight away. I think the dynamics of that scene with them three should be Claire, I don't know, realizing something about her dad / husband, two different drafts, not the same, and going, oh my God, you are terrible, you are a horrible man, or something, and then she pulls a gun, and then he has to kill her. I think that's what it's missing. I think she needs to make an attack on Jim, because currently it's just bang, and then it moves on to Ethan.
Yeah, she should have had more agency, and I think if the film was made now...
I think fundamentally she's just underwritten.
A lot of the female characters, other than maybe Max, are quite underwritten and
I'd have to well, no, this is the problem. I don't think they are underwritten. I think Max isn't underwritten. I don't think Christian Scott Thomas is underwritten. I think Hannah, yeah, sure. And
she's a minor role, though, to be fair.
But she's a minor role. I think it's just Claire. I think Claire's an oddity. Because I do... I
do think they changed for the later films. I think maybe not the second one, Thandie Newton, is kind of a bit pathetic. Also, she's very bloody sexy, so...
Well, yes.
But then, you know, like Julia in the third film, I don't think she's underwritten. I think she's got stuff about her. You know, she's a doctor. She saves Ethan at the end and stuff like that. And then, my God, my favourite woman of all in the fifth and sixth film.
Oh, Rebecca Ferguson.
Ilsa. Ilsa's. Actually, I can't even remember her name from the fourth film. She's kind of just.
She is there, isn't she? Yeah.
She's also. She's kind of just there, but then in the fifth and the sixth film, Ilsa's a wonderful character. Very complex.
Nessun dorma.
Yeah, she's great.
For Rogue Nation now.
Oh my God, me too.
I love that opera. So my changes. Let's talk about the masks. I mean, let's just be honest. So the way that they do the masks changes from film to film to film to film to film. Yeah. In this film, with the senator Jim Waltzer.
Which is so clearly just Tom Cruise in makeup.
That's the way they do it. It's Tom Cruise in makeup to begin with. So then you don't have to go, oh, that looks ridiculous, and he's taking the mask off. But then you have, and I do believe that's a real mask, the John Voight mask at the end. I believe that's a real John Voight mask. Whereas from obviously every movie.
Well, maybe they didn't have the budget to have, because a lot of the times when they wear a mask, it's often another big name actor.
Yeah.
So maybe they didn't have the budget to hire another big name.
Yeah,
to
and obviously
be the senator.
We're 2 movies before the voice strips in Mission Impossible 3 that obviously is another big factor in this. It's in here. It's just Tom Cruise doing a southern accent. I think the title card looks dog shit. This just it's just this stamp is shit.
Yeah.
I put here Voight and hot wife.
Why is she so sexy? Like, it's just, this is what I'm saying. It isn't believable. Yeah. I think it would have been so much more believable if she was his daughter, and I think it would have been more compelling. You kill your own daughter for money. What is wrong with you? Kill your own wife. Fair enough. Clearly, you didn't like her that much anyway.
The Book of Job discussion group, not just a Bible discussion group, specifically Book of Job discussion group.
Don't you think the 90s is one of the funniest things? Oh, yeah. Watching him type in max.com.
Max at Job 113. That's not.
No, 314.
Well, we know what you're in the. Well, we've just done the quiz, Katrina. How do you think you did in the quiz?
Terribly. I know I did.
None of us know. Maybe you won. Who knows?
Maybe.
Which takes us. Oh no, I've still got more changes. So Langley has a temperature thing. It's got the sound thing. It's got all of these things. It doesn't have a camera.
No camera. But maybe the camera would have been too hot.
No, I think it's because the camera would. No, because you could just put the camera the other way. You could have the camera the other way so that it's not seeing the computer. I understand the thing of what you need is a throwaway line of the secrets on the computer are too. There can't be any camera allowed. There can't be any recording.
Maybe there could have been a thing where Lucy goes, cameras? And Tom Cruise is like, no. See, they've got all this protection. They've got cocky. They don't think they need a camera in there because they've got all these other things. So a camera seems archaic and redundant.
Who knows? And then...
But also, it doesn't have a microphone in there.
Yeah.
As in, it's not recording any voices. It's just if it gets too loud. What if you leave something on there and then like a ball and he goes out and then the ball rolls off the thing? Oh,
or a glass of sangria.
A glass of sangria.
And also, let's just cut the bullshit. That helicopter is crashing instantly. There is no way. I love that Max calls it the channel. But
what channel?
It's just exploding immediately. I think, arguably, a better action ending would be him getting the hook on the tunnel and then Jean Reno, oh, shit. And then the helicopter explodes on the tunnel, getting in, and then there's a hand-to-hand on the train.
But then you wouldn't have got the cool bit where Ethan's like...
Red line!
Yeah, and...
No, you could do, because he could put it on his neck or in his mouth or something and then kick him off.
No, but you know when it's like swinging, and then it's like... And then you wouldn't have that bit.
And also you wouldn't have what's his name? That British actor.
Oh
fainting.
yeah, which my mum went, oh, it's that guy with the teeth.
What is his
just
name?
Just before he came up on screen, my mum went, oh, it's the guy with the teeth.
I'm gonna find this man. It's not Carol Dobry. You vamp. Do some vamping. Do some vamping, Katrina. You don't need to. It's David Schneider, who was train engineer in Mission Impossible. He was a writer on The Death of Stalin. So he's a bit more of a writer than he is. He was the dad in Horrible. No, he was Soggy Sid. Jesus Christ, in Horrid Henry the movie. We are Horrid Henry basically.
No.
Me neither. Oh, and obviously he was on all of the. That's it. He's on all the Alan Partridge.
Yeah. But
yeah,
the ending's kind of. It's not quite a Fallout. It's not quite the Fallout helicopter scene.
It's just.
But also, it
effects.
couldn't have been. It couldn't have been. But you couldn't have the Fallout helicopter scene without this one. One of my favorite things about the Mission Impossible films is how often they make callbacks to other films. The very opening of this film, you're in a hotel room, Tom Cruise is in there and he's like slapping the guy about, and then it cut once they've got what they want, it cuts to the walls falling down because it's a fake hotel room. Then in Fallout, you get the same with the hospital room.
He's good in the hospital room. Very excited. You know what the joy of this is that there's just, apart from Mission Impossible 2, there's just no movie that isn't exciting. Even
Mission Impossible 2 is it's exciting to talk about because it's so funny.
It's mainly exciting to talk about by the fact that Dougray Scott turned down playing Wolverine to be in Mission Impossible 2. He was the first choice.
That's one of my favourite facts.
He was the first choice for Dougray. Which takes us... Oh, who was what was like Dougray Scott in?
Google it.
I'm going to Google it. Mission Dougray Scott. Was he... I believe... he was like... Oh, he was Arthur Miller in My Week with Marilyn. That was quite good.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the Snatch TV series.
Never seen it.
He was Arthur Miller again in the Urban Myths episode. Hemlock Grove.
Oh yeah,
I
never watched it.
Is this going to be one of those things where Dougray Scott isn't actually in anything?
Yeah, do you want to know why? Because he turned down Wolverine for Mission Impossible 2.
That's rough. That is like unbearably
Look at
rough.
Hugh Jackman.
He's doing all right. Hugh's doing all right. Anything left from your notes, Katrina?
I never make any notes.
Yes, you don't, famously. I've put, I love all the dead fish in when the tank explodes. I just love all the flopping fish on the Prague embankment.
I think I like... What else? What else did I think of?
Well,
Can I talk about Luther some more? Love Luther.
You've got 5 more episodes to talk about Luther. Let's talk about some fun facts and see if these any of these jog your memory. While filming the famous scene where Tom Cruise drops from the ceiling, Cruise's head kept hitting the floor until he got the idea to put coins in his shoes for balance. Surely there are just...
I told you, he's top heavy.
It's top heavy, man. It was Cruise's idea for the aquarium glass tank explosion. Reza Badi, the person responsible for directing more episodes of the original Mission Impossible television series than anybody else, was asked by the head of Paramount Pictures to be present on the set for consulting and advising. De Palma approached him and told him how much he had enjoyed the original series. He also added that the movie would be nothing like the show, and that his presence on the set would only result in making both of them uncomfortable. Badihi thanked him for his honesty and left the set, never to return.
That's fair. I think the fact that he was open and honest was good.
This is the only film in the franchise where Ethan Hunt doesn't do what, Katrina? Fire a gun.
Oh, yeah, he
doesn't. Vanessa Redgrave's part was originally written for a man.
I'm glad they changed it.
Me too. Tom Cruise deferred his 20 million fee for a percentage of the box office takings. What a clever, clever man.
Smart man. I think he always knew it was going to do well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
he's good at what he does. Yeah. We're going to ignore some of his other films.
What if he made a Scientology movie?
I'd watch it.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I've seen The Mummy. I've watched it. Didn't enjoy it, but I've watched it.
That was really bad. When Peter Graves was offered the role to play Jim Phelps, he refused to do it after he learned from the screenplay that Phelps is the villain in the movie. We talked about Peter Graves, of course, famous in Airplane. But
wouldn't you want to do something different?
I would be so in.
Me too.
That just to me it annoys me when people can't see how cool that would be.
I think that's why I think it'd be interesting if in the last film Ethan did turn out to be the bad guy, because I don't think Tom Cruise will ever do it, because I do think he loves Ethan Hunt too much. But Ethan Hunt is a righteous man. He's very moral. He tends to know what is good and what is bad. But it would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because Ethan
they'll probably do what they always do and pretend that he's gone bad, and then I was kidding.
Because even in this film, you're like, oh, maybe he is the bad guy.
He's just given. He's just the only reason why hundreds and hundreds of hidden agents aren't dead and their identities known is because of bad Wi-Fi connection heading into France.
Yeah.
There is a version of this movie where that list gets dealt with early.
That's something I also like, is that Max doesn't get arrested.
Yes.
She's an arms dealer.
Perhaps there's information that I could inform you of. And he's just so in. Dame Kristen Scott Thomas said of her role, "I die on page 25, but I die in the arms of Tom Cruise, so it's worth it." Kristen coming out for Tom there. Which takes us into tagline rundown. Katrina, which of these do you think is the best tagline? Only the mission matters. What? Every second counts. Okay. One man has one chance to do the impossible. And then expect the impossible.
Obviously, the tagline, I don't know if they say it in this film. Your mission should you choose to accept it. I don't know if they say it.
No, they don't say it. Oh, no, maybe they do. Maybe when he's on the plane.
Maybe.
No, they do. Your mission should you choose to accept it. Yeah, they do when John Voight's on the plane.
Obviously, that should be the tagline.
your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to come to the cinema this summer, May 22nd.
This spring.
Oh, what a wonderful film. Tom's big question. Okay. We talked about did he kill the rats. Let's just talk about how insane it is that they set up his mum and uncle as a drug ring. What the fuck? Donald and... That's just like thrown away.
First of all, I don't think his parents are ever mentioned again.
No, they're not. He says, they did find it a little confusing that they'd been, confused with the Mexican drug ring. It's like, that could traumatize. I'm pretty sure that's an insane thing that they will never get over.
I think he does mention them later, maybe in 3, and say that they're dead, but I think that's...
Yeah.
I know his dad's dead. Obviously, his dad died of cancer. It says in the film. There's his poor mum.
Oh, poor Miss Hunt.
He doesn't even go and see them.
No, he's too busy in London. I know you liked those Liverpool Street rentals. I showed you them. Lovely stuff. Katrina, this is the end, but it is nowhere near the end. On a rewatch of Mission Impossible, what were your prevailing thoughts?
Every time I watch it, I do think, God, this is a good film. It's a very great opener to a wonderful franchise. And here, my thoughts, controversial thoughts. Mission Impossible as a series is better than the Daniel Craig, James Bond. But Skyfall is a better film than any of the Mission Impossibles. But I think as a series, I think Mission Impossible is better. Mainly because
thrown in like a big bombshell to say we've got like 10 minutes left.
Oh yeah. But don't worry, we've got 5 other episodes in order for you to...
I famously, though, Skyfall is nowhere near my... for me, it's Casino Royale, then Skyfall.
Mm.
Also, by the time that this has come out, No Time to Die has come out, and maybe the best movie ever.
I have seen Spectre, though.
Yeah, Spectre. Is April's after May, isn't it? No, April's before May. Yes, Tom's stupid. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Katrina, these will come. This is like the best planning I've ever done. These episodes are all going to. If May 22nd sticks for Mission Impossible 7, all these will come out in April. This is the first time I've actually bothered to think about stuff.
When we do the episode for Mission Impossible 8, please insert the 3-minute video of Tom Cruise screaming at members of his crew.
We are the gold standard!
Please, it has to be in there.
Not 7, 8.
Oh, no, wait. That's because you confused me earlier.
I don't know what I'm doing. You know what? I'm fully behind Tom Cruise on that front.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, maybe it was a little much. He's an intense guy.
We are the gold standard.
But I liked what he was saying about how, people's jobs, people's lives, and people's houses.
I have people fucking ringing me every night. This is...
I'm going to go watch that after this.
I do find it very funny that, like, for a period of like 3 months, Mission Impossible 7 was the only big movie that was filmed, like the biggest blockbuster movie, and people were like, studio heads weren't ringing the directors, weren't ringing other producers. They were contacting Tom Cruise and going, "Hi Tom, how's it going?" And he's going, "Yeah, it's fine."
That poor man. He must be so stressed. No wonder he turned to Scientology. He must be stressed.
Yeah. No wonder he turned to the one religion where people are just like, "You're great."
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can't wait to see it.
Yes, and just think, Katrina, although we're a year away now, we are only 14 days away. So close, but so far. Mission Impossible. Next episode, this Thursday, Mission Impossible 2. We've already mentioned it, lesser, but let's see if on a rewatch we come to love it. I doubt that.
I mean, I feel like my 10-minute stretches aren't necessarily going to be, wow, it's quality filmmaking, but Wow, that is an interesting scene.
I think there's going to be a lot of Do Grey Scott pity.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-da-ba-da-da-da-ba.